What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with the overall market moving forward. And why Tesla's getting a lot of bad news this morning is causing it to dip. I'm going to break down exactly what's happening with the economic calendar too. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, what's happening to Tesla? As you guys can see, Tesla had a high up here around the 480 area. We got this rejection. We've been making lower highs since. And then we were supposed to hold the support. We had the support that was holding Tesla up since October of 2024. So if you look right here, we're holding the support. And then we actually ended up losing this support this morning because we got a lot of bad news. Unfortunately, this bad news could cause Tesla to dip a little bit more. So I'm going to break down what's happening so far. The first main thing making headlines is this right here. There is news that the Dutch pension fund ABP sold its entire Tesla stake over Elon Musk's pay and working conditions at the company, according to reports. They disagreed with Elon Musk's compensation package and voted against it in June. And they also did not respond to a request to comment. So I don't know entirely what their opinions are because I haven't really heard from them specifically. This is just what reports claim that they are saying. So just based off that, it looks like many sources suggest that the Dutch Civil Services Pension Fund has essentially sold its entire stake in Tesla over its disapproval of Elon Musk and his pay package and such. You also could see that they sold about 2.8 million shares in the electric company. They disagreed with Musk's pay package. That's the reason why, and other factors like that. They didn't give us the specific details about what their concerns are when it comes to labor conditions, but they did mention that that's another reason too. And then there's also this news right over here that in total, according to Bloomberg, the stake is valued at about $585 million. So they sold almost $600 million worth of Tesla stock. And that's not the best of news, right? That's, more than $500 million worth. And with their negative comments involving Musk and such, that was a little bit more negative for the share price. So for any company, whether it's Apple, whether it's Nvda, for any company, if there's a report that a pension fund is selling $500 million worth, that's a little bit more negative news. I wouldn't be surprised if that causes a sell-off. That's part of why Tesla's selling off. There's also this news right over here about how Tesla's announced a quote-unquote recall of about 239,000 vehicles due to a software issue that caused the rear view camera to not display images. Now, that's not entirely the truth because according to reports, they could fix this with a potential digital update. So it says it right over here. Tesla said it could identify any vehicles with the issue and replace the computers for free of charge. And they said that this could be solved with, once again, a digital update. So it looks like a software update could fix this. So it's not your conventional recall, but the media loves to call it that because, once again, they tend to have lots of big biases against Tesla. So I just want to call that out. A lot of negative news came out this morning. There's also negative news involving Nvidia. They are criticizing some new policy changes about how the access to mainstream computing applications around the world could be restricted due to new policies. I'm not going to go into the full details about this. I just want to say that that's also why Nvidia is dipping, and that's causing this market to slow down as well. Today is Monday, so happy Monday, everyone. It's January 13th. Please know that at 11:30 a.m. we have the 3 and 6 month bill auctions coming out. So just be prepared for some volatility then. And besides that, there's nothing else that's too crazy coming out for today. We have Comtech announcing earnings. Nothing else too crazy for Monday. Things get a lot more serious on Wednesday. Last thing is that we're seeing tech once again starting to dip a little bit more because we're seeing the 10-year treasury yield continue to climb as there's more fears about inflation going up. There's going to be big bank earnings starting on Wednesday and Thursday, so I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. Besides that, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy, at least on the news. So let's now just focus on the share prices, okay? So for Tesla, we want to see Tesla reclaim 387.5. If Tesla gets back above that, we could try to push to fill the gap for 393. If we can't get back above that, if we push to like the 385 area and we can't reclaim 387, there's going to be a risk of us continuing to fall all the way down to 380 flat. And if that cannot hold us, I'm going to be looking for an attempt to dip to about 375, followed by 370, which is where our 200 EMA happens to be. Looking at the share price, unfortunately, there's weakness now on Tesla stock, and we're losing structure here. We're losing the key support that held us up for the past 3 months. So this typically favors downside because of this bad news that came out. In my video yesterday, I was hoping Tesla would hold this support because that's what it was doing, but we got lots of bad news this morning, and that's causing this to end up losing the support. So this now favors downside a bit more. When we open, we do tend to see Tesla push a little bit, so there might be a small pop here before it continues to dip. But there's going to be a risk of it falling into the 370s. I want to give you guys a warning about that, as there's weakness in this market. For Nvda, we're showing a lot of weakness as well, a lot of negative news that came out this morning. There's also some news about how it got some negative ratings from analysts, such as HSBC. They have reduced their overall targets to about $185 a share. They used to say it was going to the 190s. So with that being said, there's a range on Nvidia. We have to try to get back above 133 to bounce to 137. If we can't hold above 133, this is going to be favoring downside. Look at 131-ish as the support is trying to hold up. If that doesn't hold us, I see a risk of this dumping to about 127.5. So just be careful with Nvidia. There's weakness right over there. Bitcoin got this rejection. We're going to be watching to see if around 91,000 of this holds. If not, we could be dumping all the way down to about 90,000 flats, followed by 88,000. If we get back above 92,500, we could bounce, but this is still favoring downside in my view. Just keep that in mind, guys. There's still weakness that is developing. For others out there, we have SPY. So unfortunately, SPY has this left shoulder ahead than the right shoulder. With Nvidia and Tesla both selling off, we're seeing a lot of tech getting affected by this. So SPY has a gap above. So that's the first thing I want to call out. If this could hold above 578, we're looking for a push to about the 580 plus area. If we can't get back above 578, there's going to be a risk of this falling to about 575. And if that doesn't hold, we could be dipping all the way down towards, well, we have this previous resistance becoming support around 573.5, excuse me, 573.5. Then we also have like 570 below that. So watch those levels. As of right now, it is looking like this head and shoulders is going to pan out now because we are showing weakness. We're losing structure here. We'll see if we get some kind of rebound to try to fill that gap to 180 or 580, excuse me. Otherwise, we could just reject and continue to fall. We'll see if we push first and then fall, if we just fall from here. But this is still favoring that it's going to be dipping to the lower 570s now. Unless we can try to reclaim 578s to 580, we favor more downside. So just keep that in mind. ES has the same thing going on. I was initially hoping we would see a rebound first before it starts to dump. Instead, this is continuing to fall right here. There's a left shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder. So I'll be looking to see a retest of 58.40. And if we get a rejection there, we could continue to fall to the low 5800s or below. If we manage to get back above 58.80, we could turn back up. Otherwise, we favor a move closer to 5800 flats and even more downsides. So just keep that in mind. For NQ, this is also looking a bit more bearish. We're technically on a downtrend. We have to get back above 21,000. Otherwise, we could be dumping all the way down to the lower 20,500 area or below. The QQQ, we're also making lower highs right here. We have to see if we can reclaim 505 to 507. Otherwise, we could continue to dump back down to 495. So I think this could continue to fall. So watch this support. We're at support at 502. If that does not hold, we're dumping to 500 and 495. So be careful. There's also weakness on the QQQ thanks to Nvidia and other stocks out there. Apple's on a bit of a downtrend. There was some news about the global chips seen as a shift in policy, which could affect Apple. So we're looking for an attempt to see if 233 holds. If not, it could be dumping to the low 230s. For the Russell, we're technically on a downtrend. We're going to be watching to see if we could come back up to fill this gap. There's a gap to fill at 216, but we're also at 214. We'll see if we get a bounce to 216, then reject, or if we just reject here. This could be getting closer to about 210 if that fails, so just keep that in mind. For coin, we're on a bit of a downtrend. We have this resistance to watch for at 261, and we also have this support right here around this 246 area. If that fails us, we could be dipping all the way down towards 240. On Amzn, we're very flat right now. We could get close to 214. I am seeing a wick forming here, so it might come up to fill this gap towards 218. But then if we reject again and we don't get back above 220, it might just be a little pop here before it starts dipping closer to 214. Meta is so stuck in the middle. There's a gap to fill, so we're looking for 613. We'll see if we end up losing 608. If we lose that, we're going to be dumping even lower. There's a downtrend on Microsoft. Now there's a gap to fill here. I think we might come up to fill this gap for like 418, but then we'll be watching to see if we get a rejection off that or not. If we could hold 418, we're bouncing for the 422 area. If we don't hold 418, we could be rejecting, continuing to fall back down to 413. And for Google, we're range bound here, but there is going to be a risk of this still falling. We could push to fill this gap. If we get a break above 192, we're looking for that gap fill. If we can't hold above 192, we're looking for a dip closer back down to these lows around 189. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. As far as the market goes, I'm seeing a weakness that's still developing on SPY and the others, and then Tesla's also getting dragged down by the market, not to mention lots of bad news that came out. Unfortunately, the bad news is continuing to hurt Tesla, so the share price remains a bit more bearish as a result, thanks to the news about the pension fund that is reducing their stake in Tesla and the potential, or the quote-unquote recall the media claims that Tesla is experiencing, despite the fact that Tesla will fix it with a software update. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Have a good rest of your day. I'll be back hopefully in a couple of hours. I'll see you guys very soon, but make sure you watch these levels and just know there's still some weakness in this market. Thank you for listening and peace out.